guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to today's video. I am so excited about today's video because it's going to be my very first makeup tutorial, something different from my channel, something different from your usual unboxings and reviews, your BoxyCharms, your Ipsies. It's going to be something a little bit different. I just woke up this Saturday morning so refreshed. You know those days when you just have such a nice night's sleep for once? I slept all through the night. I was just dead after last night. I had such a nice sleep and I didn't wake up at all. I wasn't fidgety like I always am. My mind wasn't running like it usually is. So I just had a very nice night's sleep and I woke up refreshed and ready to go, and I felt like recording today. So I sat down and did that. I sat down and I really wanted to do my makeup on camera for the first time. I really felt like doing a makeup tutorial would be really fun. I've never done it. I've never tried it before, and I wanted to show you guys my makeup routine basically. So this tutorial is going to be what I usually do for work. This is the makeup look that I will do 5 days a week for work. It will take me about 20 minutes to do, so it's not something that it's a 10-minute makeup look, because that's not what I usually go for. I do like to spend the time in doing my makeup and hair for work. I know it's not for everyone, but it's just what I usually go for. I always do get comments at work like I'm usually so dressed up and I always look so put together for work because it's such a casual workplace where I work. So it's like, I don't know, I just feel like myself with makeup. I don't feel like myself when I'm like barefaced, and I wouldn't even consider going to work without makeup. So that's a personal thing. That's just me. That's the way I grew up. My mom is the same way, so that's how I am. I got it from my mama. So if you want to see the entire process and how I get ready every morning, I'm gonna walk you through all of the steps. I am gonna give you some tips in between steps in ways where you can make this process faster. But I've just been doing this process for the last like 5 months, 5 days a week, so it's just become a habit, and it's taking me such a short time to do. By now it takes me about 20 minutes once again, so it's just a fast process. I hope you guys learned something here and there, maybe some new tricks, maybe some new tips in there as well. I don't want to make this intro any longer, so let's just jump straight into the video and jump right into the makeup tutorial and how I get ready for work. Everyday makeup / natural go-to easy fast makeup tutorial. Hope you guys find this tutorial easy to do. Hopefully you learned some new tricks in there, some new tips in there, and hopefully this is just something that will help you find the makeup process not that intimidating. If it is for you, hopefully it is useful. If at the end you do like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more videos like these. And without further ado, let's get right into this video. Alright guys, so let's just jump right into it. I really wanted to sit down and film. It's a little bit early on a Saturday morning, but again, I wanted to sit down and film something, and I have my coffee with me. My dog is fed. I just got out of the shower, so don't mind my hair, and let's just get going. So the very first thing that I do every morning when it comes to getting ready for work, again, I do this routine 5 times a week. I always do my makeup for work, and the very first thing that I do is just do a nice splash of water on my face. Number 1, to wake me up. Number 2, also to get rid of that kind of like residue that you get after applying heavy night moisturizers in the morning or doing also spot treatments. You can get a little bit of residue on your face, and I just want to start with a clean slate once again every morning. So I just do a nice splash of water, pat down with a towel, and just get right into the makeup. But the very first thing that I do is go in with a day moisturizer, and the one that I'm using right now is the Neutrogena Hydro Boost Water Gel with hyaluronic acid. I've been using this one for months now, and it's been wonderful, and it's become my favorite. This is actually like my 3rd tub of this thing that I've used, so it's worked wonders. My skin always feels super plump. over time it's become super plump, and I really love it. So I don't go anywhere without it. It's my ritual every morning. Even if I'm traveling, I always carry it with me. And even like the smell and the feeling on your face, it just wakes you up and makes you feel awake and nice and bright and plump, and I really enjoy using it. Next on my routine is the CoverFX blurring primer. As you guys saw in my last video, I got it on my May BoxyCharm, and I've used it ever since, and I really like how it just blurs my skin out and just makes my skin overall like blurred and nice and airbrushed. So I've been going with this religiously ever since I got it on my May BoxyCharm, and I'm really loving it ever since. So in between steps, I do kind of like pause and wait a couple of minutes when it comes to jumping in straight with a primer after the moisturizer, just to let the moisturizer really sink in. So I will apply the moisturizer and maybe go do something else, like brush my teeth or put on, choose my shirt that I'm gonna wear to work that day. So I do leave a little bit of a time in between steps. So now that my moisturizer has jumped in, and I just realized that I'm gonna be wearing this hair for the entire tutorial, my goodness. Anywho, but now we're gonna go in with our primer now that our moisturizer is nice and sunk into my skin. And again, I only apply a pea-sized amount, and I really use it only on my T-zone. I will go into my forehead, then on the sides of my nose, and then a little bit on my chin. And just really take the time to like spread this out. Of course, I don't take the time every single day because sometimes I am running late, but as much as you can, that's what I'm trying to say. Just really spread that in, and once it's spread into the skin, then again I take a little bit of a break in between, go do something else, maybe choose my pants now instead of my shirt. So I will leave some time in between just to let the product sink into the skin. Just keep in mind that some of the steps in this tutorial will be interchangeable, and you can replace them with a faster technique, and I'm gonna be explaining all of that in between steps, so just keep that in mind for now. But right now I feel like it's a Saturday, so I am taking my time in doing this makeup. But during the week when I'm doing the steps, I'm just flying through the steps. I'm not like sitting there like making everything look pretty. I am like flying all through it, and it does take me around 20 minutes to do that. Alright, so now that we have our primer synced in, ready, our face is ready, we're gonna go ahead and jump straight into foundation. And I'm gonna be using my Ride or Die, my L'Oreal Infallible Pro Glow foundation in the shade 204. And it's been my Ride or Die for such a long time, and I just love it. I'm religious to it. I do switch back and forth a couple of times if I wanna try something new, but for the most part, this is my everyday go-to. What I will do is just like place it on my face first, and then go in with a brush. I will use a brush like this one. This is a flat foundation brush. Excuse me if it's a little dirty. And I will just spread the product out onto my face first before going in with a sponge. And I will explain why. The reason why I do this first is I just feel like it's easier and best to, when it comes to making my product go a longer way. I feel that if you place a product and you go in straight with a sponge, it's gonna the sponge is gonna eat up all of that product. So when it comes to like placing it and spreading it out first, you're gonna notice that you're gonna make your product go a longer way. And it's just a more even application that way if you just spread it out first, and then you can get the product on the places that you really want it and then blend it into the skin. So right now it's not blended. I'm just spreading the product to the places where I want it and then going in with my sponge. Alright, put a little bit on my lids as well because I do have like veininess on my lids, and I just want to get rid of that, get rid of all of that redness, spots. I do have some acne scars as well, so I just want to get rid of all of that. And once the product is where I want it to be, I'm just going to go in with my Real Technique sponge and just blend all of that out. I love this foundation so much. It has such a beautiful coverage, and you notice right away when you're covering everything out. It's just a beautiful finish. Your skin looks like skin. Your skin looks nice and healthy and glowy. I absolutely love it, and I am surprised that even having oily skin that it does work for me. So it's been with me for such a long time now. Alright, so now that my foundation is all laid out, nice and neat, I'm going to go in with my concealer. And right now I'm using the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind concealer, this one right here. And I will switch back and forth again whenever I'm trying new products. I will switch back and forth, so just use your favorite concealer. And this is the one that I'm going to be using today. And what I will do is, of course, place it on my under eyes. And just do your usual triangle. Everyone knows this. Just do this really quick. A little bit on my forehead, a little bit on my chin, like so. And then just go in again with your sponge and blend it out. And I will also take it in a little bit again on top of my eyelids, just to get rid of any veininess that I have. And as soon as the concealer is done, we're going to jump straight into powder. And today I'm going to be using my Ride or Die Coty Airspun. And what I will do is not necessarily bake, but I will just set the concealer on my face. I'm only going to be using powder on the places where I put concealer, and just the tiniest bit, like the whatever's left on my sponge, I will use it on the rest of my face. So I will grab the powder right here, then use my sponge and dab it a little bit. Tap off the excess and just place it on my under eye and just press it into my skin. I'm not leaving anything to brush away later. I'm just pressing the powder right into my skin and on the places that I get the oiliest, which for me, it's on the sides of my nose, on my smile lines, on my chin, and on my forehead. So it's basically the center of my face. Wherever I'm placing my concealer, that's where I get the oiliest. So that's where I am placing my powder right now. I'm not baking. I'm just pressing the powder into my face. And once you've done that, once you've placed the powder on your face, once you've really pressed it in, whatever's left on your sponge, I am gonna go in over my cheek and the rest of the face, like the perimeters of my face. Again, I'm using this on my forehead, just really pressing in that powder there so I won't get oily. On my lids, and repeat on the other side. The place where I get the oiliest, like heavy duty, it's my nose. So I will go back, and again, if I have the time, and if not, that's okay. I can always just blot during the day, but if I have the time, I always just make sure that I put in extra powder in there to make my makeup last longer through the day. Sometimes I do skip lunch and I won't have like the time to retouch, so I do want to make sure that I do that sometimes. So if it was any day during the week, I would already be done, but because it's the weekend, I am taking my sweet little time and just pressing it in all over my skin. Alright, so now that our face is nice and powdered, we're going to go in with bronzer. And I do use two bronzers for this. I use my Butter Bronzer and I use my Tarte Park Avenue Princess Waterproof Bronzer. It's this one right here, and I got it a while back in one of my Ipsy boxes, and it's still going strong. So I am going to go back and forth between those two with my MAC something brush. I've used it for such a long time that the thing has been worn out, but any brush will do that's this kind of a shape, a bronzer shape. So we're gonna go in, and as you can see, my Butter Bronzer has been very well loved, used and abused. So we're gonna go in with that, tap off the excess, and we're just gonna go into the areas where we usually bronze, which is the hollows of your cheek right here. And I only take my bronzer like right there, and then over my temples over here just to pull in my face a little bit. So I will do this kind of action and just the slightest bit under my chin too. So like that up here. And then for a little bit of a darker note, I will go in with the Park Avenue Princess one and just deepen things out a bit. And whenever you're using a darker shade, you just want to keep it right over here. You don't want to go in too close to your face because it's going to look muddy on the inner parts of your face. And then repeat on the other side. This is actually the easiest part of my makeup routine, I feel like. So again, just right in here on the sides of my forehead. And just a little bit underneath here. Underneath my jaw and underneath my chin. Going with a little darker color, my Park Avenue Princess, and just go in right here. And the next step is, of course, highlighter. So I always like to go bronzer, highlight, and then blush, because I feel like whenever you do bronzer and then highlight, there can be a separation. So that's when the blush comes in and just makes everything look nice and blended. So I will go with my Anastasia Glow Kit right here and use the shade Summer. And just go on the very tops of my cheeks like so. And right on my brow bone, and right here and here. So right here and here. And then jump in straight into blush. So today I am using the Milani Baked Blush in the shade Berry Amore. It's a beautiful, such a beautiful color. It's a nice kiss of color on your cheeks. So I'm gonna take a blush brush, tap off the excess, smile, and just tap the apples of your cheeks. And again, just marry your bronzer with your highlight. Now you can skip this next step. I'm gonna do a little bit of a nose contour. Again, you can skip this step to save you some time, but I always do it just to define my nose a little bit. I like to do that. Again, you can skip ahead to the next step if you want. So I'm gonna take this angled brush right here that I got on an Ipsy bag recently, and I'm gonna go in with just the bronzer that I just used and use it on my nose. And I'm just gonna tap in the slightest bit, tap off the excess, just go on the sides of my nose to make it look a little bit slimmer, just a little bit, just to give it a better shape. I do feel like my nose is kind of big, so that's why I usually go for a nose contour. So I just bring it in like so, and then use a pencil brush like this with a little highlight and go on the tip of my nose like that and just do a line upward to give my nose a different shape. And I know this is a little exaggerated, so I am gonna go in with this brush and just buff out the sides to make sure that there are no harsh lines and that it's not too noticeable, too dramatic, because of course this is a work look. Even the highlight will diffuse a little bit, so that's always helpful. Very nice, and it will just make it for a more natural look. Now we're gonna jump in straight into our eyeshadow, and what we're gonna do is just go in and use our bronzer that we just used and take it all over our crease. Now if you have more time, of course you can go in with like a bone colored shape and just go in all over your lid, but because I want to make this a little bit quicker and easier, we're just gonna go in straight into our crease color. And fluff that out all over our lid. And I am using my favorite brush of all time, the BH Cosmetics 101 brush. It's just a wonderful brush. It's like the perfect shape to buff out your eyeshadow, even as a last step when you're doing a heavier eyeshadow look. It just diffuses all of your edges. It gets rid of all of your harsh lines. And I'm just building up the color, making it a little bit deeper. And just pressing it into my outer V like that. And you can use any transition color. Sometimes I'll go in with like a lighter mauve-y purplish color. You can go in with like a light pink. You can go in with any transition color. Again, this is the part where you can really like personalize this work look to whatever colors you like. Now I'm gonna go in with my Jaclyn Hill palette, and I'm just gonna go in with a deeper color. You can skip this step and leave it as is and just continue on, but for me, I just want to take a little bit more time. I'm gonna go in with this color in the center right here and just focus it on the outer V's. Place it right there with the same brush like that and just blend again. Now I'm going to go in with a smaller crease brush. This is the Ipsy brush. I got it a while back on one of my Ipsy bags. It's the T35 Precise Blending Brush. And I'm just going to go in with that same color right here. And I'm just going to go on my lower lash line, just to smoke that out a little bit. And if I do have the extra time, I will go in with a dark brown like this. Take a small brush. This is the brush that comes with your Anastasia palette. And just take a small packer brush and just go in on the outer portion of your lower lash line like so, just to give like the effect of an eyeliner. That's why I really like doing that. It just smokes out your lower lash line, and I really love this look. So that is all I do for my eyes, and now I'm gonna go in with my fingers and just grab this glittery shake right here, which is my absolute favorite. And I'm just gonna go in with my middle finger like so and just pack it on the lid like that. It's just a beautiful shade to wear just every day. And I just go in like halfway, and that's it. And we're gonna repeat on the other side. You can leave it as is, or you can go ahead and add a few details, which I do. And I do grab that same pencil brush that we used to highlight our nose, and I'm gonna go in on this color up here and just go into the inner corners of my eye like that, and on my brow bone just a little bit. And that's the entire eye look. I'm now gonna go in and spritz a little bit of my setting spray on my face, just to make sure that all of my powders are nice and blended together. Just press it into the skin. I think I saw Nikki tutorials do this once, and I've been doing this ever since. It just makes sure that your setting spray is nice and in there in your skin. And I am using my all-time favorite setting spray. I used it last summer and it worked wonders with triple-digit weather here in Arizona. It's the Milani Make It Last setting spray, and I've been using it ever since. It's such a wonderful setting spray. It makes your makeup stay there. Last summer I used to work at Macy's. I used to do merchandising at Macy's, and I would be up in the stock room pushing carts, carrying blenders up and forth. I would just be running around all of the time, and I would sweat in that job, and I would wear, of course, minimal makeup, less makeup than this, and I would wear this thing, and my foundation would not budge all day. And even people will tell me, why are you not sweating? And I'm like, I am. But it's just like my makeup would stay there, and this thing has been wonderful. I've been wanting to try out like the Urban Decay one, so many others, but it's just like, why do I have to when I already found something that's like $8 and it works so well? The only thing that sucks about this setting spray, it's the spritzer. You never know what you're gonna get. Sometimes you'll get like a spritzer that does this kind of a thing where it squirts like two different ways, so you have to go with one and then you're wasting the other product. Sometimes it'll be the perfect spritz, just like an even coverage. Other times it'll be so that's the only thing that sucks about this setting spray, but it's absolutely beautiful. It smells like perfume, it smells wonderful, and it works. So I really love this. This is the only setting spray that I'm gonna be using for such a long time, so yeah, I do recommend it. So now the next step, and the one that I've been wanting to get to since I started doing my makeup, is of course my brows, and I did overpluck on this side, that's why it's kind of like blotchy. I'm gonna be going in with the Anastasia Brow Wiz in the shade Dark Brown, and first spoolie up the hairs up and out, make sure everything's nice and neat, and my butchered eyebrow over here, and we're gonna go in and just do your usual, just fill in those brows. And this is what it looks like. This is the before and this is the after, and I'm just gonna repeat the same thing on the other side. Alright, so now that our brows are done, I'm going to go in with a brow gel. Now you can skip this step if you're in a hurry. I'm just going to take my time a little bit and just finish those brows, and I'm going to go in with a brow gel. Now I know that in my previous videos I've said that I don't know how to use brow gels, but I did my research and I saw a James Charles video recently where he was doing his mom's makeup, and he kind of like explained a little bit of what brow gels were for. He said that they're made for people who have thicker brows, fuller brows, and they're just made to move the hairs and just place them, make them stay in the way that you want them to, and so that they won't be like too bushy or too out of place. And then I also saw a Raw Beauty Christy video where she said that she's been loving this one. It's the exact same one, and I figured if it's made for thicker brows and you know, people are raving about it, then how come I can't use it? So I really do love, once again, and I do agree with Christy that the shape of this is perfect, and I'm just gonna go in and just finesse the brows. And now that I know that it's supposed to like leave those hairs in place, I do see the difference, because before what my brows used to do were they would go like down and they would look messy. So now what I do is I go into my brows and just pulley them up where I want them to be up, so like in this portion right here, and then on the tails I will drag the brow gel to the side so that my brow hair will stay to the side and not come down and make it look messy, if that makes sense. So it just makes my brows look cleaner and nicer, which I'm very much liking from this brow gel. Now for the next step, I am going to go in and just define my lash line with a little eyeliner. You can skip this step. I never usually do eyeliner for my work makeup routine, but this time I will, just because I love how eyeliner looks on top of my lash line. So I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna be using my Pretty Vulgar eyeliner with my Aesthetica brush that I got on my BoxyCharm. So I'm gonna do that really quick. Again, you can skip ahead to the next step if you don't have time to do eyeliner, or if you hate to do eyeliner, so that's totally fine. You can just skip ahead. So I'm not gonna go ahead and do a wing. I'm just gonna leave it like that because it just kind of gives your lash line such a beautiful definition. So I'm gonna leave it like that and just repeat the same thing on the other side. Now for lashes, I am going to be using my Ride or Die Scandal Eyes Mascara by Rimmel London. And just, you know, do your mascara. And like I've said in previous videos, I do like super dramatic lashes. It's just a personal thing. I've always done my lashes like this since I have memory. I think like since high school. So it's just a personal thing. It's a personal preference. You can do as much or as little mascara as you'd like, of course. So here are my finished lashes, and now we're gonna move on to our last step, which is of course the lips. For lips, I am gonna use a liquid lipstick that I've been loving for a while now. I got this on one of my influencer boxes. It's the CoverGirl Melting Pout Matte Liquid Lipstick in the shade Ballerina, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, shade Ballerina, and it's just such a beautiful liquid lipstick. It's not heavy, it's not drying, like super drying, and it lasts all day. It's just a beautiful light cover, super beautiful cover of color that will stay put all day. So it's very light. You do have to, it's not super opaque where on the first application it's gonna cover entirely, so you do have to layer it, but when you do layer it, it doesn't clump up, so it doesn't like bulge up and become like very like super tacky or anything like that. So it is super easy to layer. I usually take about 2 layers to have like a full opaque look, but once you do get there, that color will stay put all day and you don't even feel it on your lips, which I love. So that is the first layer, and it's not to the opacity that I want, so I'm gonna go in with a second layer. And that is the lip. Now I'm gonna wait for it to dry a little bit before going in with a gloss. So in the meantime, I'm gonna spray my face one last time with my setting spray. Fan it out. Press it into the skin one last time, and to make sure that everything is nice and blended. Maybe tone down the bronzer a little bit too. A little bit of the highlight, because you want to make it work appropriate, of course. Tone down the nose contour. And once you do that, you can move on to our gloss. And I am using my Han Skincare Cosmetics All Natural Lip Gloss right on top, and I just focus it on the center of my lips. Like that, and that is the final look. I'm gonna go do my hair really quick, and I will be right back to do a quick roundup. Alright, so I'm back. My hair is done. This is how I usually wear my hair to work. It takes me the longest when I washed my hair the previous day and I have to start the curls all over again. But if it's second day hair and I just have to add dry shampoo and just retouch the curls a little bit, then it of course takes me the least amount of time possible. This is the look that I would wear to work. I feel comfortable in it. I feel pretty in it. I feel confident in it. So all of the products that I used in this video will be linked down below, and if you have any questions, don't forget to leave those in those comments below as well. I'll be more than happy to help you out in the best way that I can. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new here, welcome. Thank you so much for being here, for coming back. If you're a returning subscriber and watcher, I really appreciate you guys being here. Hope you like this look. Hopefully this is something that you guys can take whatever parts you found useful, whatever parts you didn't know. Maybe you learned something new. Hopefully this is something that you will find useful for your everyday routine. I really appreciate you guys being here. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Take care, and I will see you all on my next video. Bye guys.